Good morning, Year 4. It's Monday and this is week 12, lesson 1, and we are revising multiplying and dividing by 10 and 100. Okay, so this is what you should have in your maths diary. Okay, so this is the top half of the page for multiplying by 10 and 100 that we did. So we're just going to whiz through quickly. To multiply by 10, you move up one place value column. Okay, so we've done this example, 273 multiplied by 10. Right, so we've put 273 in place value columns and each digit moves up one column. Okay, so and the digits stay in the same order. Right, and then we've added a 0 there as a place value holder. Okay, and then we've done another example, which is to multiply by 100, you move up 2 place values. Okay, so that would be 756 multiplied by 100. We've set out 756 in place value columns, hundreds, tens and ones, and we've got to move each digit up 2 place values. Okay, again the digits stay in the same order, but this time we're going to need to put 2 zeros in as place value holders. Okay. Right, and as we know that division is the inverse of multiplication, we're doing it kind of backwards, we're doing it the other way. So to divide by 10, you move down one place value. Alright, so here's my example of dividing by 10, 480 divided by 10. Okay, so I've done my place values, hundreds, tens, ones, and I'm moving down one place value, and my answer would look like 48.0, but because we know that 0 isn't actually worth anything, we would write our answer as 48. Again, our hint and tip is your digits stay in the same order. And here we've done to divide by 100, you move down 2 place values. So we've got 3,700 divided by 100, okay, and we're moving down 2 place values. Okay, so our 3 that's in the thousands goes 1, 2, and then the 7, 1, 2, okay, and our zeros would move into the tenths and the hundredths, but because they're not worth anything, we are going to have our answer of 37. Okay. Okay, so we've actually done this. I've taken these examples straight off lessons that we did in about November, December. Okay, so it's just a case of going over it. Once you understand the principles, you should be able to apply them to these kind of problems. So don't panic because it looks really hard, but if you work systematically, it will be easy for you to do. Okay, so when we look at this long number sentence, all right, 4,000 divided by 10. Okay, and then you need to put the answer here, and then you need to continue because you then need to divide this number by 100 to give you the final answer. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly. Okay, so we've got 4,000 and we need to divide it by 10. So if we're dividing by 10, we're moving one place value down. Okay, so our 4 moves down from the thousands into the hundreds. Our digits then stay in the same order. Okay, if you're not sure what's happened. And this 0 would move into the tenths, but because it's a 0, it has no value, so it's even better if we write it as 400. Okay, so we know we've got 400, and then we need to do 400 divided by 100, so we move down 2 place values, so our 4 that's in the 100 moves 2 place values, 1, 2, into the ones. Okay, we then have our decimal point, our digits stay in the same order, 0, 0, but hopefully some of you are screaming at me saying, but they're not worth anything because they're after the decimal point. Okay, and there are no other decimal values there, they're at the end of a decimal number. Okay, all right, so we just end up with 4. So for this example, we need to know what process has been carried out for the number to change from 8,000 to 80. Okay, so if I then write, I've written 8,000 here, and if I write 80 here, we can see that our 8 has moved 2 places. This 0 has moved 2 places. So what have I divided? Because it's moved down place value columns, what have I divided 8,000 by to get 80? And I must have divided by 100. Okay, remember the number of zeros will tell you the number of place values you need to move the digits by. Okay, and then here we've got the missing part here, so then we need to do 80 divided by 10. All right, and I really hope most of you can tell me that 80 divided by 10 moves 1 place value down, so that would put your 8 from the 10s into the 1s. Okay, so we have a slightly bigger number, okay, because we should be able to read numbers up to 6 place values. This number has 5. All right, so we're on 15,000, okay, divided by 10. So here I put the 15,000 into its place value columns, dividing by 10, it's going to move 1 place down, so the 1 will move into the thousands, the 5 that's in the thousands moves into the hundreds, we get the 2 zeros, so our last 0 would move into the tenths, but because it is at the end of a decimal number, it's not actually worth anything. Okay, so here we have 1,500. Okay, and then we need to continue to work out what process will have been undertaken to change from 1,500 to 15. So if I write 15 down here, because we've got our 1,500 here, our place values come down to place values, okay? Right, so we've divided that by 100. All right. So I'm going to see some questions a little bit like this today. The actual question says, put these calculations in order from the greatest answer to the smallest answer. Okay, so we've got to work out the answers to 3 calculations and then put them in order. All right, so the first thing you need to remember, this is a representation of Dean's apparatus, or we tend to call them base 10 now. Okay, so each of the big cubes is worth 1,000. All right, and each of the squares is worth 100. So I do have one of the squares at home because I also use them when we're doing decimals. And then if we had like 10 of those, then we would have 1,000. Okay, all right, so here we've got 1, 2, 3 thousands. So we know 3 in our thousands. 1, 2, 3, 4 hundreds. So 4. There are no tens or ones. And so we need to think that we've got to divide that by 100. Here it just is the number sentence, 3,900 divided by 100. Okay, and here we've got 3 100 counters. So we've got a 3 in the hundreds, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. So an 8 in the tens, and there are no ones. Okay, and then we've got to divide that by 10. All right, so I want you to pause the video, do that, and then check my answers. Also, you need to order the answers from the greatest to the smallest. Okay. Okay, so what I did was worked out the answers to the equations, right, and then I ordered them from the greatest, so the largest number, to the smallest. So we have 39, 38 and 34. Okay, so those are my hints and tips for today. You're going to need to do a very similar sort of thing for the questions, all right? So work your way through, and if you're not sure, go back to the first part of the video. You might need to draw your place value columns to help you move the digits accurately, okay? But that's really all it comes down to, is moving the digits across the place value columns. All right, so work hard, have fun.